All right, welcome to lesson 7 of the Civil War. We're going to talk about the election of 1860. This is the section of the notes that gets into the new notes. So page 9 is in the notes. It's something new that you don't have if you use the old packet. So we're going to talk about the election of 1860. And the important thing to remember in the election of 1860 is that the way people got nominated to run for office for the presidency of the United States was you had to be nominated by your party, and the parties would gather together in conventions in order to nominate the people that they wanted to run on their behalf. First off, we have the Democrats, and when the Democrats assemble, they actually assemble in Charleston, South Carolina to pick their candidate. The Southern Democrats at this point are unwilling to work with the rest of the Democratic Party, and they want a line added to the campaign promises of the Democrats that the Democratic Party would support the cause of slavery, upholding the Dred Scott decision that slavery could occur anywhere, and wanted to have that issue included in the official party platform. The platform is the series of promises or the series of ideas that the party is going to support in that election. The Northern Democrats, who outnumbered the Southern Democrats, didn't want to add a pro-slavery plank because they felt that the Northerners wouldn't vote for them if they did, and they felt that by adding that promise to the campaign materials, then that would just further drive the nation apart. And so the Northerners deny adding this pro-slavery idea to their campaign. And so the Southern Democrats, those who were in favor of the rights of Southern states to have slavery, those who were in favor of slavery as an idea, walk out of the convention. They refuse to participate anymore. And so when they walk out, the rest of the Democratic Party, those who remained, essentially the Northern Democrats, they get together on their own and they elect to have Stephen Douglas from Illinois run for president on behalf of the Democrats. Now, the Southern Democrats, they had left. And so the Southern Democrats, when they leave, they say that they're going to form a new party, and so they form what they call the National Democratic Party. But this is really just the group of Southern Democrats who are trying to break away from the rest of the Democratic Party. And so this National Democratic Party, they nominate John Breckinridge of Kentucky to be the party's nominee because they felt like if he was from Tennessee, he would be able to keep those border states, those states that had slavery but were, kind of leaning northern states. He would be able to win their nomination. He would, of course, win all the southern states. And so they felt like that if they had those states together, they would have a good shot at winning. There's another party that is formed during this time, and this is the Constitutional Union Party. The Constitutional Union Party was their platform, their promise during the campaign of 1860 was very simple. We are going to uphold the Constitution and enforce the law. And so we're not going to break the law. We're not going to ignore the law like the Fugitive Slave Act or the Dred Scott decision. Our job is to, as the federal government, is to uphold the Constitution. And so they run on this very simple platform, which is just trying to keep people together. And they nominate John Bell of Tennessee. And so the moderates are forming into, the Constitutional Union Party, but they're also in that Northern Democratic Party. And so this splits essentially the Democrats into 3 different divisions. And into that division steps the Republican Party. And the Republican Party assembles in Chicago, Illinois for their nominating convention. And the favorite going into the nominating convention was a guy named William Seward, who was very outspoken against the expansion of slavery in the territories, and William Seward really wants to have a strong statement against slavery in the party platform, really wants to run a campaign that for once and for all will end slavery. And he's not nominated by the party because he doesn't get enough votes. The votes in the first ballot were split up among a number of different candidates, so they vote again. When they vote again, Abraham Lincoln from Illinois, remember he was the guy who already served one term in Congress but stood up to Stephen Douglas in the Lincoln-Douglas debates and gave a very good rationale of why we should not allow popular sovereignty in the territories. People started to vote for Abraham Lincoln to be the Republican candidate. And when they see that the vote is starting to trend towards Abraham Lincoln, the delegates from Ohio switch their votes, and because Ohio switched, it was a very important state, had a lot of voters in it. More people started to join Lincoln's cause, and so the Republicans nominate him to run for president in 1860. So we have Stephen Douglas of the Democrat Party, we have John Breckinridge of the National Democrat Party, we have John Bell of the Constitution Union Party, and we have Abraham Lincoln of the Republican Party. Now, we talked previously about how when a party was split and you had a division between voters, it usually helped the more unified party. Now, in this case, we have 4 different parties running, and we have 4 different people running for president, but most of them would be agreeable in some way, at least, to the Democrats. And so the Democratic Party vote is split. So the Democrats are voting for one of 3 different people, but all of the Republicans are going to be voting for Abraham Lincoln. And so when we get to the popular vote, Abraham Lincoln only gets 39% of the vote. So he doesn't get a majority, but you didn't need to get a majority in order to run for president, in order to be elected president. You had to get a majority of the Electoral College. Since the states of the North were in favor of Abraham Lincoln, he got 180 Electoral College votes, and you needed 152 to win. John Breckinridge got 72 votes, because remember, he's going to get all of the southern states. John Bell is going to get 39 votes, and Stephen Douglas is only going to get 12. And so because the North was so unified behind the Republicans, then this creates a win for Abraham Lincoln, but is the final straw for the South before we start the Civil War.